First, temperature. Now, like pretty much every biological reaction, photosynthesis requires enzymes. Enzymes are great. When you increase the temperature, enzymes normally increase the rate of a reaction. That is until they denature. And once they've denatured, they are pretty much useless and the rate of reaction is going to crash. I think of this a little bit like frying an egg. The egg before it's fried and after it's fried is completely different, and once it crosses that threshold, there's no way to get it to go back. So what would that look like on a graph? So initially, with temperature increasing, the rate of photosynthesis would increase, and then when it reaches a certain point, the rate of reaction is just going to crash as the enzymes become pretty much useless. So this is what the graph would look like to show about the rate of photosynthesis and temperature. Now, what if we looked at something else that can affect the rate of photosynthesis, such as the concentration of CO2? Now, as you increase the concentration of CO2, the rate of photosynthesis would increase. But then when it reaches a certain point, the rate of photosynthesis will flatten off. Now, look how different this is to the graph on temperature. They're really different. Now, why is it going to flatten off? Well, that is because at this point, something else will become I'm going to write it in a fancy color because it's so important, limiting factor. Something else will become the limiting factor. So what could that be? It could be that there's loads of CO2, there's more than enough CO2, but something else that's needed for photosynthesis, such as light, is no longer available. Now, if you were to draw a similar graph for light intensity, it would look pretty much the same. The rate of reaction would increase until another limiting factor is found, or there is another limiting factor, and then it's going to flatten off. So these two graphs would look pretty similar, but these graphs would look really different. You need to be able to recognize these graphs and explain why they are different.